and NetComm. I'm going to pass it off to Anders here to get us started.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kristen. Appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. My name is Anders McKenzie. I'm a partner in our Canadian tech, media, and telecom practice. Welcome to our session on fixed wireless access. I'm joined on the stage. Beside me is Adrian Macarthur-King. He's the CEO of NetComm. Beside Adrian is Neil Chaulk, CEO of Solace. And beside Neil is Willem Verbiest, who's a senior advisor and tech strategist also with Solace. So, fixed wireless access. As wireless access scales globally, operators are under pressure to deliver fiber-like performance without driving up the cost of deployment. Adrian, in practice, how are carriers navigating the tension between fast indoor deployments and higher performance with outdoor CPE?
I think the reality is they aren't. The reality is the vast majority of fixed wireless being deployed today is indoor gateways. There are some outdoor deployments, but and traditionally they were professionally installed outdoor deployments.
The microphone, if you get a little more closer into the...
Traditionally, outdoor deployments were professionally installed, and they work really well, but they're very expensive. And so, that makes them well suited for rural areas where, high gain antennas and, are really needed to get a service. And, the high expensive install costs are warranted because the alternative is for broadband is non-existent. So for FWA to scale, most people have moved towards indoor gateways, and that's because they're simple and they're cheap and they mostly work. But the reality is that there are some real downsides in simple and cheap. They don't work every time, maybe 60, 70%, 80% of the time. But a lot of people, it doesn't work, and then you've got dissatisfied customers and returned units to deal with and that sort of thing. And the reality is that the performance is not as good as they could be. So, there is a middle ground. There is a have your cake and eat it too, something that's in between the two. And that's kind of what we're here to talk about. It's the idea of a self-installable outdoor unit for fixed wireless. And, these are being deployed today with cables that run between the two, the outdoor and the indoor. And, there's a big benefit there because you get the radio, the outdoor cell radio outside where it's going to work really well. And then you get the indoor Wi-Fi AP in the right part of the home to get signal propagation everywhere you need it to be. But, for the simple and ease part of it, cable's not ideal. So how do we do better there? And that's what we're here to talk about.
Yeah, perfect, thank you. So, Willem, if I could turn to you for a moment.
Sure.
When you think about at scale, how does widespread indoor CPE placement impact spectral efficiency and overall network capacity? Essentially, why does it become a bottleneck as you scale and grow?
Yeah, thank you. Actually, it's quite straightforward. Number one, fixed wireless access users consume a lot of data. It's a family service, you have large screens, etc. Number two, fixed wireless access is using 5G bands in the range of 2.5 to 4 gigahertz, and those, they don't penetrate very well into the home. The attenuation to get into the home is in the range of 10x to 1000x, 10 dB to 30 dB attenuation to get into the home. What that means is you need much more resources from the 5G network to transfer a certain amount of data. If you combine those two, number one, people consuming a lot of data, and number two, the 5G network not being very efficient, it basically means, number one, the business case is impacted because you consume a lot of network resources. Number two, very important, the total capacity of the network is dragged down. And number three, as already said, the service that the end user gets is not great. Now, so far, that wasn't too much of an issue because, and definitely during the first years of 5G networks, it was not an issue because there was plenty of spectrum. Operators bought a ton of spectrum, and that was not really needed for mobility. So some operators call that the fallow capacity, the excess capacity they had in the network, and they consumed that for fixed wireless access. But as all this capacity is now consumed, something gonna need to happen in the network to improve the efficiency because if that doesn't happen, the deployment will stall. So that's basically a very significant impact.
Okay, so clearly there's a benefit for having outdoor CPE.
Absolutely.
Why has it not rolled out faster? Like, what's the holdback?
Yeah, well, one of the reasons of the success of 5G fixed wireless access was the agility. As an end user, day one, you order a service on a website. Day two, you get a box, you plug it in, and you're up and running. And that's brilliant. It's much better than you get with fiber or any other service. If you go outdoor, so far, the problem was that the agility was completely killed, because what happens, you order the service, you make an appointment for an install, a month later, they don't show up, or you don't show up, 2 months later, they do the install. So it completely kills the agility, it completely kills the scale at which you can deploy. Operators today are deploying millions of devices a year. If you do that with professional install, it's very hard, can be done, but it's extremely hard to do. And of course, there is the cost of the truck roll to do the install. Now, you could argue that you're going to save a lot of on your network by doing the outdoor, so the truck roll is kind of compensated in the business case, but the scalability, the agility is that.
So Neil, that takes me to you, CEO of Solace. Like, how does this through glass architecture actually change the model? I mean, Willem's spoken a little bit around it, but maybe you could expand upon that.
Well, the architecture that we have eliminates that trade-off between ease of install and performance in the network. And the temptation is always to, go with the lower opex option, self-install, put it inside, and that's what's traditionally been done. Our solution lets you preserve the best of both worlds. So self-install, though, if you do it and it's outside, you have both those things. You can have your cake and eat it too. You can have a consumer install the equipment on both sides of the glass, and wireless power enables that. So this thing here lets you put it on any glass, one SKU, one design, put it on a window, put it on the outside. It's inside a box like this one here, NetComm has, and you have the best of both worlds. It's a choice that's just waiting for someone to take right now, because it's not a technical obstacle anymore. It's just a legacy issue.
All right, so let's explore that just a little bit further, Neil. When we talk about what this actually enables, maybe for both the carrier, what this actually does to the network capacity, and then the consumer, the ease of use and the actual outcome that they get. I mean, let's talk about some of the benefits to both sides of the equation here.
So when you plan, so it just really comes back to planning, I think. And so when you plan to deploy a network, you model. And someone's figuring out, well, we put a tower up, we can cover this number of homes in a certain radius, and that's actually very predictable. Models are very, very sophisticated these days, except when it's inside the home, because you have no control over necessarily where people are going to put it. And they may move it after you install it, or they install it themselves even. So, and we don't know the wall thicknesses. They're very variable. We don't know if the windows are coated with low E coating, silver oxide and the like, or not. And so modeling is challenging. If they go with the standard models for prediction, they will be very optimistic about what their coverage is. And we've heard from operator after operator after operator that they're getting far less coverage actually with indoor CPE than they expect. So so it comes back to, like I said, planning. If you move that CPE outside and you do it with this technology, you actually have an opex that's self-install based. It's low, but the performance is actually what you will get from a professional install because it's outside. So that's really the crux of it. Everybody wins in the scenario. The consumer has better service, a higher bandwidth, and the telco has lower opex.
All right.
You going to buy some?
Yeah, I will take two. What then needs to change, really, Adrian, when we think about this, like to consistently roll this out at scale? What needs to change within the existing structure?
I think this technology is only really matured now, and so it's available in front of us today. And I think it takes a little bit of boldness to attack that challenge. Don't just go for the kind of the low-hanging fruit of the inner circle around the cell tower, and those cases that Neil was talking about where indoor gateways work fine. Let's look beyond that. Let's cover the outer ring and make it work 100% of the time, not 70% of the time, so that you're not having dissatisfied customers that end up churning and going elsewhere and having return boxes and things like that. And of course, not only do you have a more successful install, but the spectral efficiency is higher for the whole network, and the end throughput speeds to the end user is better. When you have a better signal propagation, you have a higher order modulation. It literally translates to a much better service offering, even for the people that are within the inner areas of the cell. So yeah, we've got to have a bit of boldness to embrace this and achieve the same level of simplicity that you get out of an indoor gateway using an outdoor self-installed device.
Thank you. Neil, Willem, I'll ask you the same question if you want to add to the points that Adrian was making around what needs to change for broader deployment of this type of a solution.
Well, I think the benefits are absolutely clear. They are very, very significant. Just to give you a number, once did an analysis on a network in the US. If you move 15% of bad indoor CPE, if you move it outdoor, you create 60% more network capacity. So that's not 5% more, 10% more, it's 60% more. So the benefits are absolutely clear. It's now up to the operators to embrace the technology and make it viable to have a self-install outdoor CPE with this technology.
Neil, anything you'd like to add to that?
Well, the deployment models just need to be updated. If you want to be fast, update your deployment model to include this type of technology. It'll unlock, and like we talked about earlier, and I won't rehash it, but it'll unlock faster growth, much more reliable network design and implementation, and scale far faster than any of the other things, because simply it's predictable.
I would be remiss, Neil, if I didn't ask you how Deloitte is helping you through this process.
Well, a couple ways. So Deloitte is helping us with our financial modeling and doing some very good work there as part of our raise, getting some very good guidance. And Deloitte also has a very large established global network of operators, and that actually is something that we can leverage together to deliver the value proposition and offer the value proposition, because we believe that it's a win-win scenario for operators to adopt this.
Adrian, I'll save the last question for you. What is the one assumption operators should stop making about fixed wireless access so that it can be more broadly deployed? Or if you've got more than one, that's fine too.
Just that outdoor deployments are too hard and don't scale, because that's wrong. And we've got working units today that are fully 5G all-in-one through glass devices, and we can do POCs and trials and demos to show it off. So come and talk to us. We're very happy to show it off.
Well, there's no compromise. You don't need to do that anymore. That's a legacy thing. It's not a technical problem anymore. That's what I would say.
Adrian, Neil, Willem, thank you for your time today. I know they're going to be sticking around afterwards, so if you have immediate questions, by all means, please stay. Thank you for your time this morning, this afternoon, and I hope you have a fantastic show.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Anders. Thanks, Neil. Thanks, Willem.